Try to imagine all life as you know it.
Why, Kermit? Look at this tree.
Yep.
Isn't that terrific? Look at all those twigs and branches up there. Look at those leaves.
That's a great looking tree.
Yeah, look at that bark. Feel that. That's real bark. That's real tree.
Mm-hmm.
Great to be out here, huh?
Yep.
A bear in his natural habitat.
Yeah. Well, but Fuzzy, see, the thing of it is, though, well, you're not a real, you're not a real bear. I mean, you're not a real natural bear.
What?
Well, I mean, you're talking about a bear in his natural habitat.
Yeah.
Well,
me in my natural.
The cows back there.
Yeah.
Now those cows, those are real cows. I mean, those are cows that are out here. They eat grass. They get milk. Those are cows.
Well, I don't give milk, but I'm a bear.
No. But a real bear is sort of a thing with. He's got sharp teeth and he.
Now wait a second.
Do you have sharp teeth?
I don't have teeth.
No. I mean, do you hibernate?
Well, only with friends.
You're not a real bear.
Now wait a minute. Now look, I feel in my very bones.
Well, you don't.
No, wait a minute.
No, wait a minute.
That I am.
You don't even have bones.
That I what?
You don't even have bones.
What do you mean I don't have?
I mean,
bones?
a real bear has bones. What do you have? You've got sort of a fake fur. You've got foam rubber.
What?
Well, I mean,
what'd you say? I had what?
You got foam rubber and fake fur. You're an artificial bear.
You're telling me I have foam rubber?
Have you ever seen a bear with a magenta nose?
I got a newsflash for you, kid.
What?
Frog, you hurt me, I'm gonna have to hurt you. You ready for this?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
You got a wire on your arm.
What?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it.
I got a what?
I didn't mean to hurt you.
A wire on my arm?
Yes, but it's only for movement.
It's only for movement.
Movement. It's not. I mean, I believe in you.
I don't understand it at all.
I know.
Yeah.
But
I got a leg that kicks.
I do understand that I'm not a real bear.
Mm-hmm.
But I am. I know what I am. I am what I am.
Well, that's true. We all are what we are.
But I'm a real puppet.
You're what?
I'm a real puppet.
Well, that could be.
Yes. Okay.
If
I'm happy with my lot in life. I am just pleased that I'm not here amongst nature and wilderness. I am just pleased that I can be a bear representing my species in this beautiful tree. What's your excuse, Frog?
I was watching the camera going up in the air there and coming back down again. That was a wonderful move.
Thank you.
No, you didn't do it.
I didn't do it.
No.
Is that a good move?
No, Jim, what?
I just did a move.
It's what a move?
Was this a good move?
No, that's okay. But that wasn't like a great camera move. Jim did a wonderful camera move.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You know, however,
do you know, Jim? Who's the man over there shooting this?
I don't care. You know why?
What?
I had this great feeling of ennui all of a sudden.
Of what?
Ennui.
Give me both.
I don't know. I just feel like
a classic.
That was yeah. It's Jim Frawley's camera test. It's a 17-minute camera test, and it's his camera test at the beginning of directing the Muppet movie. And they're just going off like riffing. None of that was like scripted or planned or whatever. I don't know. I think it's hilarious.
It's a classic for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I don't have a wire on my arm.
I think the deities I don't believe in for that every day.
But yeah, we're here to talk about the Muppet movie. Rough on the set, it seems like. It seems like there's a lot of back and forth with Kermit, Fozzie. Sweetums gets into the action later in there, and they're just roasting Sweetums. Seems like a brutal place to really to make your bones.
We call it a hostile work environment now. Yeah.
Very different in 1979.
It's different times.
It's a long time ago.
Longer than I think in my head, though. Like I don't expect that it's as long a time ago, I think, as it actually is. But I wasn't there, but
I was 2.
Yeah.
All right, welcome
I was
to
too busy being a child.
Welcome to Movie Night Extravaganza. Well, then you're the perfect audience for this movie. Yeah.
I mean, I was like a baby. I wouldn't have understood it at the time, but I certainly understood it later.
Welcome to Movie Night Extravaganza. We are here with a wonderful panel of a bunch of Muppets. Starting with Jay Underworld, artist, illustrator, Ben Burgess collaborator. He's big in Bombay. That's why we've never seen his movies. How's it going?
Pretty good. This podcast is great so far. Oh, come on. You know the line? Oh, come on. You're not going to give me the line so I can say my other line back?
Wait, what was the line?
It was the podcast hasn't started yet.
Yeah. Oh, it hasn't started yet. Yeah. All right. I told you. You come to me.
We're starting over.
Cut.
Okay.
I told you come to
Good
me on
thing
the
this
day
isn't
when
live.
I am so sleepy. I was not kidding about that. But yeah. Well, I hope the podcast hasn't started yet because I'm absolutely killing it. Here backstage. All right. Conan Neutron.
From the Truth in Advertising Department.
Conan Neutron, Protonic Reversal, Jim Henson fan, Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends, Conan Neutron and the Electric Mayhem. How's it going?
Swell. It was nice coming back to this movie. I think it's kind of something that's in the DNA for certain folks like us, and to actually go back and watch it as a film was actually very interesting, and I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to talking about it and whatever else we get up into.
That makes one of us.
I may do Statler and Waldorf commentary throughout. I may not. We'll see where the mood takes me.
I'm going.
All right. Well, it's all about the mood. All right. We have Andrea returning to us once again, who hosts Above It All on YouTube. How's it going?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm solid 7 out of 10 right now.
Yeah,
Nice.
It was Dark Crystal, I think, is last time you were on, right?
That's correct.
Making you a Muppet correspondent for us.
That's exactly what my goal is to be. I'm here for all of the Muppet related materials.
What's going on out there on the street? The Sesame Street. Yeah.
the mean streets of Sesame. Yes.
A lot of murders from what I heard.
More than you would expect.
Yeah. Of
That
course, we're also
Oscar.
joined by Rayyvana. You might remember her from coming on our This is Spinal Tap after party last week. But she also hosts Reactions on Twitch and is frequently on the TYT main show.
Yeah, thank you for letting me drunkenly bully my way into this episode because I love the Muppet movie. And I was offended that I was not already invited, but it's all good because I'm here now and that's what matters.
Exactly. We atoned very quickly. I'm glad somebody remembers that after party because I don't.
The only part I remembered is talking about Bill Maher and then you getting upset
For
that
what
we were
seemed
talking
like
about Bill
1,000
Maher.
years. And I was like, can we please not do this anymore? Thank you.
It was literally
Which I
50
stand by
seconds.
that. It
Hey,
seemed like
Conan.
50 hours.
John
It already
Ross
feels
wants
like
to
50
hear you
hours
do.
talking like about Bill Maher.
John Ross wants to hear you do an impersonation of the Swedish Chef.
What am I, a jukebox? Come on. Let's
Listen,
see.
I just
if
pull
the
up
mood
the
takes
comments as
me.
they come.
Yeah, famous
Stage
impressionist Conan Neutron. I mean, I'll try my best, John. I don't know.
Rock stars are known for their impressions.
Yes, exactly. Everybody talks about it. People are talking about it more and more.
All right, so I wanna bring in this our favorite Wilkins coffee thing to wake us
Wilkins
up.
coffee.
Oh, here we
Because
go.
Wilkins coffee.
I think that's the first time that the Kermit character, like the original version of the Kermit character, appeared.
And I know it's not an actual quote, but I in my mind, one of the quotes is, "You don't like Wilkins coffee? Fuck you." It's like that equivalent, right? It's
that essentially is the karmic takeaway.
It's the Kermit equivalent. Yeah, for sure.
It's certainly a proto Kermit if it's not Kermit.
Want the Wilkins coffee with your strawberry shortcake? Can't say that I do. You can't say that you don't either. You getting on the Wilkins coffee bandwagon? Never. No! You either go with Wilkins or you just don't go. This machine will make you want a cup of Wilkins coffee. Not me. I'll take mine with cream and sugar. Why are we climbing this tree? For Wilkins coffee. I don't want any. It's autumn and the nuts are beginning to fall. Coffee break. Want a cup of Wilkins? No, thank you. Now all our workers drink Wilkins. You want a can of Wilkins coffee? No, give me a bottle of ginger ale. Okay, but he would have liked the Wilkins. How about some Wilkins coffee, Captain? No. I say, man overboard. Help. Give me a close shave. Do you drink Wilkins coffee? Never. My friend, this is going to be the closest shave you've ever had. How about a cup of Wilkins coffee? No, just get me down on the ground. Okay. Some people just never learn. I'm going to drink this coffee and it's not Wilkins. Doesn't that coffee taste kind of flat? On guard, salute Wilkins coffee. But I don't drink Wilkins coffee. Some learn, some don't. Any last requests, like for a cup of Wilkins coffee? No. You don't drink Wilkins? No. How shocking. You can't persuade me to drink Wilkins instant coffee. Pretty please? Oh, okay. Just a stab in the dark. I see you don't drink Wilkins instant coffee. What about my future? I hate to tell you, but you don't have a future. Have some Wilkins coffee, sir? If that's all you serve, I'll get off at the next town. Next town is 5 miles, straight down. You gonna run against the Wilkins coffee party? Start the race. On your mark, get set, go. Nobody beats Wilkins. You know, people who don't drink Wilkins coffee just blow up sometimes. Oh, that's a lot of... See what I mean? You have any Wilkins coffee in your house? No. You know, a house isn't a home without Wilkins coffee. Okay, buddy, what do you think of Wilkins coffee? I never tasted it. Now, what do you think of Wilkins? Give me some party line coffee. How about some Wilkins, comrade? That's capitalist coffee, you traitor. Send 2 pounds to the back door.
It's a classic.
That last one is my favorite.
Yeah, shocking. Yeah. I forgot that he straight up shoots him. That's like one I totally forget. They just like, oh, how about now?
My friend, you have no future. That's
The blood off the blade, you know.
Well, I like that sometimes they're classy enough. It's classy enough to like make the violence off screen, so then you just kind of assume what happens, and then other times he literally just shoots him. Like,
he just
You think he would learn?
Exactly. I think the first couple deaths would be enough.
his whole family was killed by various early Kermit the Frog characters coming to his house and but yeah, so I didn't realize that so I was watching Jim Henson talk about Kermit and like the iterations of that character for like a retrospective, I guess they did. And I didn't realize that at first Kermit was like a very different character. He was a lot more like jokey and like he I guess thought of him as more like a comedian kind of character. And then as time went on, he became like the straight man Kermit that we all know and love. That kind of just holds everything together. I don't know. Have you guys ever watched the Muppet Show? I'm sure you all have, but
No, never seen it. Well, what's
No,
They have
what's
a show?
What's that? Yeah.
but I mean, like, I don't know, like watched it regularly or anything like that. Like
I have there's like 3 DVDs or whatever. I don't think it's all the episodes, but
I got the complete series.
Yeah.
Look, this motherfucker's up here asking if I seen the Muppet Show. Come on, fuck out of here. Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, I think Andy and I are exactly the right age to have been like singularly influenced by it. You can tell by my sparkling wit and Andy's hair. But it was groundbreaking in its way because they ran it like a variety show, right? And then they would actually have like Alice Cooper on, or John Denver,
Mark
or like
Hamill.
Mark Hamill, exactly. And they would run it like it would be like a standard late night variety show, but also in that same way you would see the backstage of what was going on in the show as well. So it's very meta even for its time as the show, which is hilarious because again, I forgot all of the third wall breaking. There's so much third wall breaking in the Muppet movie. Like it's like the wall's barely there. It's been broken so many times.
Yeah.
But it's awesome because it's also deeply hilarious. Like, I mean, at one point, I love that they give the band the script.
The script.
That's my favorite part of the
They want to
movie.
catch them up to what was happening.
They don't want to bore the audience by retelling the story, so just give them the script.
And I also really like when you hear it all in Dr. T's voice. So when he comes in, he goes, "They don't look like Presbyterians to me."
It's so good. It's so good.
Seconds before that.
And then later on, that's that's how they find them in the desert too.
Yeah.
Oh, we just read ahead of the script. I was like, oh, okay. Well,
And that was the first Burning Man, when they all met together in the desert and the party ended up. Yeah. I also like the digs throughout the movie to like kind of the hippie capitalism. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's like, it's gonna be so mellow and profitable and
profit. The one thing I'll say is way more Hare Krishna references than I expected, but that wasn't a big deal at the time.
Mm-hmm. It's a running gag.
It is.
I don't know. I think they use they deploy the third wall breaking really effectively throughout it because you don't feel like, I mean, you forget they're gonna do it, and then Kermit like turns to you and goes like, "Oh, geez, it's a running gag," and you're like, "Oh yeah,
yeah. Guess it is. Guess it is now that you say it. Well, but it's. I mean, think about entertainment, right? And think about the fact that like where they're coming from, right? Which I think why it's so amazing. You got like was it Charlie McCarthy? Is that right?
Yeah. That's the dummy.
Yeah. I was about to say Eugene McCarthy, and that is a different dude entirely. That you have
the dummy keeps telling me that we're not supposed to go into Vietnam. I don't know. He just keeps
like the original like dude and a dummy and the dummy's cracking wise act, like they make a cameo and like even you get to quote steal a line, and I think that was his last appearance if I remember right, like in any kind of
I think he died before the movie even came out.
Yeah, I think you might be right. But like before that, like the idea that like there could even be like a puppet that the puppets got the joke, right? And then you got Lamb Chop too, and like there's other ones as well. But like the Muppets like owe everything to that. So I love that they managed to homage in a self-aware manner one of their inspirations, and also like make it fully seamless into the bit because there's so many just ridiculous guest stars. Like every 5 minutes there's like a new guest star that's like, and it's
they just turn around, they're there.
You got like Steve Martin's waiter that is just
I totally forgot he was in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there was like a staple for movies in the 70s though.
It was, and they're doing it and making fun of it at the same time very effectively, I might add.
Yes.
And it was, I don't know, it was kind of surreal that Steve Martin, like as I was watching this, Steve Martin's King Tut sketch went viral again on Twitter.
I saw that.
Somebody not including the opening part, which was the setup to the joke, and then his song was obviously the punchline about not like taking these characters and like over commodifying them, or taking these historical figures and over commodifying them, and then he obviously does it, and like they didn't include that part in the original video, but. Yeah.
By the way, Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy. That's why I got confused. But yeah, I mean, you got Richard Pryor as the balloon vendor, right? I was like, oh yeah, Richard Pryor's in this film.
Yeah.
Cloris Leachman is in it.
You have all of Mel Brooks like staple cast.
The whole, including Mel Brooks himself, is the mad scientist, which is I forgot about that whole arc.
You think we're sleeping in Dusseldorf? You think we're taking a nap in Cologne?
Carol Kane as Myth. Which is only like only shows up as a repetitive bit.
That's one of my favorites. It's so good.
Yeah, Madeline Kahn. I mean, like there's so many, like James Coburn. There's so many like great
Dom
just-
DeLuise.
Dom DeLuise, who not even he a thinner man than maybe we remember Dom DeLuise being, because it was relatively early on.
He became a much bigger actor later.
Well,
Waka waka.
but I think it's really funny that Dom.
You're definitely the Fozzie Bear of this show, Dan. 100%.
I think it's.
I was
really
trying to
funny
say if
that,
it was you or Gonzo, and I'm landing on Fozzie.
that Dom DeLuise comes in and he's doing his like over the top Bernie the Agent or whatever, like Hollywood character. And
Right.
but it's the same character that he does in Blazing Saddles when he's the gay director during The French Mistake, when he's like sounds like steam escaping. That voice is the same voice that he does for this guy. So I was like imagining in my head, because I completely forgot how many like guest stars were in this. I was imagining in my head that they were the same character. And then he runs into the next, well, not the next cameo, but like one of the next ones is Madeline Kahn, who's doing the voice from Blazing Saddles and still in that red dress that she's wearing on stage, as Lily Von Stoop or whatever. And when she's seducing Cleveland Little. And I don't know. I just, in my head, I was like, maybe these are all the Blazing Saddles characters that they played.
It's the same universe.
It is. It's a Muppet cinematic universe. It's MCU.
Exactly.
I also really like the name El Sleazo Cafe. It just reminds me of like
It's
every dive
fantastic.
bar name. Yeah.
Reminds me of a lot of places I played, frankly, let me tell you. Yes.
But yeah.
Rayyvana, what are your thoughts on any of that?
I love the movie. It's so funny. Like it's laugh out loud funny. Even if you're an adult, I think it would be even if you didn't see it first when you were a kid. There's just so many moments where it's like so clever. And like even Fozzie Bear is hilarious, not intentionally, but so funny. Because the one of the first scenes, they're on stage dancing and Kermit's like, oh, this crowd is so ugly. I wish the dancing girls were here. And then Fozzie says, oh, if you think this crowd's ugly, wait till you see the dancing girls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
many like lines that crack you up, and it's such a feel good story. Just makes you smile. You walk away from it feeling good. I love it.
well, and I think you hit a good point, because even like the lame dad jokes and stuff, there's something about the delivery and the presentation of it that even makes those kind of funny. Like it's, even if
Like
even
Drinks
if the
on
men
the
are aware of
House
it.
is great.
Yeah.
And they do the sight gags too, and they're so like, you know,
I'm a bear in his natural habitat. A Studebaker.
works. I'd laugh my ass off. It's great. Andrea, what's your how about you? What's your take on literally any of the things we talked about in the past 20 minutes?
Well, it's a good show so far.
I think it's going well. Yeah. It's
Yeah, no, it's going great.
I'm glad one
Um,
person does.
I'm drowning over here, so.
Whoa. No, I mean, first of all, like this is one of my favorite movies. I brought a prop right here. I've got the CED version of the Muppet movie.
Finally, some
me.
pop humor.
Yeah, see, this is my
That's
grandfather's.
awesome.
This is where I first
Wow.
watched it. Was on the CED. So, and I have that. So, it's the prop.
Ah.
I love this movie. I've seen it like at least 30 times. So I'm just listening to the conversation. I love people talking about the Muppet movie. It's just phenomenal. Fozzie Bear, phenomenal. Also Gonzo. Gonzo's my favorite Muppet. I love Gonzo. In regards to the Richard Pryor cameo appearance, that's Gonzo buying the balloons. One of my favorites. I used to think that was possible when I was young and watched this. And so I was scared of balloons for a while, but that's you know.
I
that's
bet
a
when
whole
the
different
movie
story.
Up came out, that only affirmed your suspicion.
Like,
Yes,
there you go.
I actually
We got a
avoided
second.
I knew it.
meeting
It's
Up
big
for many
balloons.
years. I
It's
was
big balloon
horrified.
trying to get us to buy enough balloons that we lift up in the air and float away.
It's science. There's at least two
It's-
movies
yeah.
that have it. Different characters, even. So there you
It's
go.
true. It's true. But yeah, I mean the movie's fantastic. I mean, I could talk about the Muppet movie all day. So you know, just
You
Let's
don't have to
go-
talk
let's
about the
do
Muppet
it.
movie all day just for another hour, and then
So how did everybody else first see it?
well, I first saw it on the CED
Well,
when I was like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years old. So
I first saw it when I was very, very little. My mom loved the Muppets. Big fan of the Muppet Show. So, although I will say, I think that I saw Muppets in Space before I saw this one. Also a banger film.
That's my second favorite.
That is a banger film. I think that one was directed by Brian Henson too, or worked on by Jim Henson's son. Yeah, a weird story. So they found the van again, the Electric Mayhem bus. They found it again for that movie, and then after filming that movie, it caught on fire, and now they don't have that bus anymore, which is kind of crazy. But somebody, I guess, called Brian Henson or Jim Henson, I don't know, one of the two, and was like, "Oh, I have your bus if you still if you still want it for a movie." So they included the original bus from the Muppet movie in Muppets from Space, and then it caught fire because they couldn't stop. Dr. Teeth couldn't stop smoking up in the bus. I guess I don't know.
I was gonna say it's because it's too hot for TV, but that also works.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I saw it on VHS when I was a kid. They re-released all of them in like 1996 or something like that. So I was like probably very, very young when I saw it. And they re-released because it was, I think, the 35th anniversary or something of maybe 25th anniversary of the Muppet movie coming out. And then another Muppet movie came out. I can't remember if it was Muppet Treasure Island or if it was one of them. One of them came out in 1996, and they started re-releasing the VHS tapes of all the previous ones. So I had all of them when I was a kid.
I like the Muppets in Space one was in like a silver VHS box. I remember very distinctly.
Yeah, it was.
Muppet Treasure Island was the one that came out in 96.
Yeah, so the one with Tim Curry. But yeah, so they started releasing all of them again, and I remember seeing the commercial for like they had the trailers before all the Disney movies and stuff, because by then they were bought up by Disney. And I remember seeing that every movie that would have the Great Muppet Caper as one of the commercials, and it would have the Muppet movie as one of the commercials. So you'd start pestering your parents to go buy the other ones or rent the other ones because.
Well, I think that it's amazing to the cultural impact that the Muppets had, not just on a generation, but generations, right? Like things that we think of as just standard issue, like entertainment, they kind of broke that ground. Like whether it was this movie or whether it was the Muppet Show on the television, like they managed to be one of the more interesting and humorous shows, actually pushing the boundaries, while also kind of referencing old vaudeville at the same time, but doing it in a way that's like not self-aware necessarily, but sometimes self-aware, but like embodying what made that interesting and cool in the first place and bringing it forth to a new generation. I think of like Last Picture Show. I can't believe I just said that, but like Last Picture Show, where it's sort of like not lionizing like a time that was like not that long before, but like looking at it through like a modern lens. Like Bogdanovich like took a certain pastoral like American town mindset, and that was practically propaganda a couple decades earlier, but like looked at it from the perspective of someone that was like a new cinema guy. So in that same way, I think Muppets did a lot of stuff with comedy that, while it fell back on like the older traditions that probably Jim Henson saw as a kid and was influenced by, but it did its own kind of more edgier, cool thing with it. That like, look at how many like comedy troupes and like how many like comedy shows like have just straight up been like, oh, that's awesome, I'll do that, but just without puppets, and it's incredibly influential in that way. And it's amazing to think that like it was a mass cultural phenomenon, the likes of which you probably will never see again because everything's so balkanized. But
yeah. One thing that is so like, to me, watching this movie, I watched this movie on shrooms one time, and I was like convinced that like they were all real, like, and I was looking for all like, the way that they do the puppetry in this movie is great. Like it's an art form in and of itself. Like it's a whole like, it's like, I especially love when the bicycle. It's so good. It's just,
it's no puppets, then how can you ride a bicycle?
Exactly.
Checkmate,
liberals. Oh, whoa, hey. Speaking of which, there we go. So this.
I threw that one up.
Boo.
Indeed, Charlie.
But no, I mean, like the thing
Sounds like a
is that,
transphobic Kermit the Frog. That is what Jordan Peterson sounds like.
but the thing is, though, is like the other shows that have come out of the off the Muppets, Muppets Tonight, which was the one in the '90s. That one was a lot of fun.
That was the one Weezer came on, right?
I don't remember that episode.
Oh,
it's been a while since I've seen those, so they're not fresh on my mind. But the one with Jason Alexander is really funny because he played Hercule Poirot, and you're like, wait, you're Hercules? Well, can't you just like lift up the train and find out who did it? He's like, no, I'm not. I am not that strong. I am just a normal man. And like, can't you just spin around the earth really fast and reverse time? And he's like, that's Superman, you idiot. It was great stuff. Also the episode with George Takei, highly recommend that one because the Captain Kangaroo, Admiral Kangaroo cameo at the end of the bit is hilarious. And then they did an Office, the Office style version a few years ago, which nobody really watched, but was actually kind of funny. And I gotta say, I know we're not.
But based on that description, I would not watch. And
oh, come on,
Office,
just to see
the Muppets, but The Office is just too. No, I don't want.
No, the Swedish Chef after work karaoke singing "Rapper's Delight."
Oh no!
Oh
no!
It was great, but no.
Conan was just having an Office.
We don't like David
right
Grohl
there
on the
himself
show.
with the way his eyes were. But yeah, I mean, I think that they've been taken and commodified, I guess, in various ways, and used in a lot of different contexts. I mean, there's all these commercials now with Muppets in them. That's not the spirit. Well, I mean, unless they're advertising Wilkins coffee, that's not the spirit. I don't think that Jim Henson would have intended it, but obviously they got bought up by Disney and used as part of their intellectual property.
I haven't seen any of the new Muppet films. Like, to me, Muppets from Space is like the last one.
I actually like Jason Segel's Muppet movie just because he was so inspired. And I mean, they even like joke about this in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, right? Like he's writing a rock opera with puppets, but that's because Jason Segel has like this obsession with not with fucking puppets. Oh my God.
Wrong movie.
Jason Segel, puppet fucker. You heard it here. Movie night.
That's
This is the drama we need.
He's been like obsessed with the Muppets since he was little, and he like wrote the script for that movie because he like really wanted to bring them back. So just the movie is, of course, I mean, it's not as good as some of the other ones, but just like his passion in it.
I'll check it out then. That's a good review.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah,
better than Andy's. It's like the Muppets Meet the Office review.
It's certainly better than the sequel, Muppets Most Wanted, which does have a great Danny Trejo cameo. So for the Danny Trejo completists, I do recommend that because it's worth it just for the scene where the woman who played Sarah Palin on Saturday Night Live, what's her name?
Oh, Tina Fey. Yeah, I think I did see part of that one when I was.
Tina Fey goes, "Good night, Danny Trejo." And
Isn't she like a Russian? Isn't she like a Russian jail guard or something in that?
Yeah, and Danny Trejo's just in prison for no reason.
Yeah, I think I saw that one. But no, I do like Jason Segel though in Forgetting Sarah Marshall when he's really drunk and he's playing the piano and he's like, it's time to meet the Muppets of the Muppets.
Yeah. Also,
someone in the chat really quick mentioned the Muppets Take Manhattan, and I also just want to interject that film is fantastic and so fucking funny.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one since I was really young, but I watched last night. I watched the Muppet movie and then the Great Muppet Caper.
I don't know if I've seen that since it was in the theater.
You see them take LA, you see them take London. Now they're taking
the Muppets
Manhattan.
Take Manhattan kind of starts with like a reverse of the end of the Muppet movie, where it's like in the Muppet movie they just get there and the guy makes them rich and famous, and then in Muppets Take Manhattan it's like they try and they try and try and try and then they fail tremendously. So it's kind of like it's the alternate universe version.
I really think one of the most fantastic Muppet moments is in Muppets Take Manhattan, where Kermit's trying to sell the soap when he loses his memory, and he's like, Ocean Breeze soap will make you clean, and then the guy's like, we've never had someone just say what the product does before.
It's really good.
And what are they named? Phil, Gil, and Lil or something? They're like, what's that, Gil? And yeah. I don't know. That's
yeah. Was it Muppets Take Manhattan? Was the inspiration for Muppet Babies?
Yes.
Okay.
I watched Muppet Babies religiously as a kid.
Same.
That was a fucking creepy show sometimes.
It's not normal. It's weird. If you think about it, it's weird.
I remember my oldest was very thankful for Muppet Babies for Thanksgiving one year. Like we went around the table and say what we're thankful for, and they go Muppet Babies.
I mean, if you're gonna list anything, that's one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's definitely a thing to list for sure.
My brother as a kid was really obsessed with Cookie Monster for some reason. He my mom got him like a Cookie Monster like plush doll thing, and then he would carry that around. He really liked Cookie Monster. She wanted to break that habit, so she got him a Kermit doll. So I still have it over there. That's the one that I posted the picture of. Like he carried around Kermit every day for for a long time after that.
That's pretty good.
So we're talking about the Muppet movie tonight.
That's true. That's true. Thank you. The Muppet movie, great movie. So yeah,
this is in Muppet general discussion because we will literally be here for 9 hours, I'm sure.
Wait, so I have a question, and I can't believe I didn't start with this. What is everybody's favorite Muppet? Like,
Gonzo.
Well, you said Gonzo.
I'm just saying it again.
I mean, for me, it's kind of an obvious answer, but probably Kermit. But Ralph, I think, actually is probably my second favorite.
I do like the scene where Ralph red pills Kermit.
Yeah.
He's like,
forgot about that one. Yeah.
Is talking about how bad women are and how they always leave you, and I'm like, damn, they are based in red pill right now.
And then Ralph just shows up. Like they don't do anything. Like, you want to come with us to Hollywood? He's just there.
No, he's just there. He's just there.
And he tries to introduce how he got with them or whatever when Miss Piggy comes back. Who ain't shit, by the way, in this movie. Miss Piggy, she ain't shit in this movie. Miss Piggy really
except for when
really
she goes to town on some fools and does massively turns
yeah,
into,
but she goes
Popeye,
to town on some fools because he calls her kosher bacon. It's not because of anything with Kermit. She's all help inside out.
She's her own woman.
That's Miss Piggy.
Okay.
She's
love
the original.
Piggy.
Yeah, she's the original Instagram influencer.
This seems like the right time for me to say that Miss Piggy is my favorite Muppet. I love her because she's awful. She's the worst, and yet it's just so good. It's so good how terrible she is of a person. She's so self-obsessed.
I'll give her that.
And that's bad bitch behavior. That's bad bitch behavior because she has a career, just trying to move forward. In one moment, Kermit's kind of useful to her. Now she's got a commercial booked. Bye, bitch. I've got a commercial. I've got to fuck off. That shit fell through. Kermit comes along. Okay, now I can follow him along to Hollywood and get that rich and famous
Hollywood.
Contract.
Yeah, the standard rich and famous contract.
Standard rich and famous contract.
Yeah, standard issue one.
Doesn't give him time to say yes or no to her coming along. She's like, oh, Hollywood, she's in there. She knows this is a man who is a puppet, so he lacks the spine, and she can just plow right over him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
and
she
does.
We now know Muppets don't have bones.
It's true. It's true.
It's an alarming factoid, yes.
Of course, this might be a good time to say that, off screen, their behavior might not be as lopsided as you would expect, because this is Miss Piggy off screen.
What on which?
Kermit! Oh, look, Kermit! Oh no, look, Kermit, come here! Quick!
What is it now?
There it is. Our dream house.
Piggy, that is your dream house? That's a hotel. I mean, that place could take everybody.
Yeah, could take you and I.
Yeah, and about 45 other of our friends.
Kermit, when we get rich and famous, could you buy that for moi?
Listen, it was a cute little cottage just down the road.
Oh, you saw something. How big was it?
Well, it was above that garage. And that's what is above the garage, and then that's about the speed that you and I could afford.
Kermit,
Hmm?
I just want you to look there. See that cute little house? And see that little window in the very top? The little window there?
Yes,
That's for little Sammy.
I could afford that little window. I could buy the little window. I could not buy any of the rest of the whole house.
Look at the window and imagine, okay? That's for Samuel.
Who?
Samuel.
Who's Samuel?
Our first.
Our first what?
That's
Oh, wait a minute. Our first what?
And see that? See
Do you know what you get when you cross a frog and a pig?
Are you going to see it?
You get a bouncing baby pig. That's what you get.
Wait for a second, okay? Just get back in the bus.
I'm leaving. I gotta go. Hey, yeah, come on, Piggy. They're waiting for us.
There you go.
I've never seen that before.
There's a whole I grabbed a few clips from it, but there's a whole like side like backup test movie that they made where they're literally on a road trip and Fozzie's driving just like he was. Well, Fozzie's I guess in the passenger seat, but then there's a part where he's driving and then Sweetums is there and they're like on this really dark road trip to go film the Muppet movie. And and they're just like bantering the entire time with multiple characters. They're testing the cameras out and it's like fucking incredible.
I've seen a couple of that stuff, but I guess I missed that one. It's just really funny.
I like the we can afford that window. That window I could get.
One thing I like that they do in the movie is they pay attention to and craft interesting backstories, but don't like spend too much time on it. It's sort of like a don't think too hard about it situation, like what everyone's up to in there. But you Sweetums was invoked earlier, and I love that the bit is that it's like, oh, get the Jack, get Jack, and it was like, no, that's my job, not my name, because he just like literally picks the cars up, and that was good. It's good.
And that's this Milton Berle who plays who's
the car dealer, right?
Yeah.
And then also they're like, they invite him along, and he like kind of like runs away. And then they're like, all right, whatever. And they take off. Then he comes out with his like suitcase. He's like, hey guys, wait for me. Like, that's a great gag. And then he ends up just, following them, I guess on foot. Cause he just is just inexhaustible.
He's skipping along. Yeah.
Like he must have like incredible endurance if he's following a car. But that whole
it takes him a while. Cause by the time he got there, the screening was happening. So they'd already filmed the whole movie by that point.
And one of the first things he does is
he bursts through the fucking the screen.
And when they're all like, chili downing, one of the first things he does is like eats the fish, the boomerang fish that the fish. I don't remember the guy character's name, but he throws the fish and it boomerangs. That guy, he eats the fish.
New Zealand.
New Zealand. There we go. I couldn't remember his name. Thank you. We regret the error. Anyway, those are scenes I like from that movie. But like the backstory of like he works at this car lot as a Jack. That's great. I mean, because it's like you got this big, burly, like, monster Muppet, right? Okay, what's he up to? All right. I mean, like Gonzo's apparently a plumber. Like he's got his. I still don't quite understand the physics of that collision, but it's okay. We'll allow it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
The entire car ends up on top.
It's a cartoon.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter. Just keep.
Also, but only get $12 for the trade-in of both cars.
Right, and then he slaps the fly and
the fly
$11.95 or whatever it is. Yeah, one of the other great gags I forgot about with the car is the fact that after it's been like painted to be all like crazy.
Yeah, like it's immediate that they find him. It's the very next scene.
like the next second they find them, but then they like, oh no, well, let's hide over there, and they park in front of a billboard where the car matches exactly what the background is. That was good.
I really like when they get the car and Fozzie is like, I don't know how to thank you. And Kermit says, I don't know why to thank you.
No, he says it with such good precision too. He's like, I don't know how to thank you. I don't know why to thank you.
And that's one of the reasons maybe why I identify with Kermit a little too much, because that kind of sounds like me, frankly. But yeah. And the whole way that they introduce the electric teeth where the church like it's moving, like when they're rocking out, like it's like, like it's so good. It's such a subtle, like small thing, but it's like, oh, they're rocking out so hard, like the actual timber used to build this house, this building, this edifice, whatever, is like pulsating. Like it's an attention to detail that I think a lot of other entertainment.
The movie has so much detail in it, like just everything, like all the puppetry, all the props. Yeah, it's just so good. It's so good. There's so much there.
Props to the props.
We also haven't talked about the whole Doc Hopper, which like kind of makes up a big like crux of the movie. Doc Hopper as the creepy Colonel Sanders, but for
yeah. How do we feel about Doc Hopper? I mean, obviously he's a villain, so obviously we're not supposed to feel great about him. But
I find frog legs kind of salty, so I'm not really a fan.
I mean, I can't get over the fact that frogs, like frog legs, are a thing people eat. Like I don't want to turn this into a vegetarian episode, but like that's so gross. Oh
yeah.
Like, when he's being sleazo and they're serving the frog legs. Oh God.
I remember being incredibly like grossed out and kind of traumatized by that whole subplot as a kid, because I remember just feeling like imagining actual like a bunch of Kermit, Kermit characters all with
on
like
crutches.
no legs. Yeah. Well, they wouldn't even be on crutches because they've taken both legs, so they would just kind of, they'd be in a wheelchair.
They need a lot of crutches, like 5 or 6.
Well, yeah, but the line is like little frogs with crutches.
Yeah, no, I know.
So,
there's a million frogs with tiny crutches.
It's like particularly fucked up because it'd be one thing if he was just like he saw Kermit and he was like, that frog looks good. Look at them legs.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna follow him across the country trying to eat him. But he's trying to get Kermit to perform in a commercial, surrounded by the severed legs of his species, presumably a lot of whom are dead. It's so it's cannibalistic. They're like, Kermit, tell people how yummy frogs are. Like it's such a
and he also is going to do it
concept,
with Kermit dead or alive. Which also means that he brings like a dead Kermit up and he's like, tell him about the frog's legs, Kermit. And then he's like, yeah, you should eat the frog, like an actual puppet, like a puppet.
Yeah,
but also think about Charlie the tuna and the California raisins. There's a long history of like animal mascots advocating Jeffrey Dahmer style consumption of their own kind.
Yeah, but I mean, but we don't do it like we don't do it usually with live animals doing that. You know what I mean? Like we have live animals in commercials, but we don't try to make it look like the animals like talking usually.
Are you trying to tell me Tony the Tiger's not real?
Wait, you're trying to tell me that they made frosted flakes out of tiger blood? Tiger blood.
What do you think fuels Charlie Sheen?
I was gonna say it's the new Soylent Green, as it turns out. So there you go.
Oh well, this is like Soylent Green, but Soylent Green because he's Kermit and he's fucking
it's real subtle. I get it. Yeah.
No, but I just remember being like incredibly traumatized by that.
I mean, you don't think there's a corollary to Charlie Tuna where it's like, hey, this is my buddies. They got canned up and I'm selling them. Here they are. Go buy it, I guess.
I've never seen that, so I don't know.
Okay. Well,
it makes more sense if it was like the Chick-fil-A where they have the cow as the mascot.
That makes
more sense.
Yeah.
Because the cow probably would be like, yeah, don't eat me, eat chicken.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also like an extremely morbid like advertising campaign.
Well, I mean, it's also a homophobic cow, so
Yeah, fuck that cow, honestly.
They didn't tell us this, but it was actually the cow that was making the donations to those anti-LGBTQ groups or whatever. Like the cow was actually making those donations on behalf of Chick-fil-A.
And those are the cows present at the opening sequence of this podcast when we showed the whatever it was. There you go.
Yeah, they're the evangelic cows. They're a fucked up group.
That was bad.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That is yeah. At least that's like a drawn out tuna though.
Why do they
it also has a Native American? It also has a stereotypical Native American on the logo. it's
that's
fucked
like
up
from
in two different
62,
ways.
right? I mean, yeah. Well,
yeah.
1962, man. Anyway, that's Charlie Tuna, everybody. So yeah, how about that Muppet movie, huh? It's all right.
It's the Muppet movie released in 1979. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Good. Have you heard us? Have you heard?
All right. Good night, everybody. No. Yeah. So, Andy, I don't think. Did you tell us your favorite Muppet out of all of them?
I don't think so, but I do quite like Gonzo. Fozzie I relate to deeply. And you know what? I actually have a little affinity for Scooter as well. You know.
Oh, Scooter's fantastic. He gets a rough. I love Scooter.
He doesn't
He's
seem
got
to
a lot
have
of
it as
wrangling.
rough in the movies as he does in the TV show, where he's like, just like the put upon diligent soldier of Kermit's. He's like, how's it going, boss? Everything's good, boss.
Yeah, he's the diligent capo to Kermit's Don. Yes.
So did Skeeter grow up to become Jess?
I think this is a character they made up for the Muppet Babies. Maybe she died. Maybe she died.
She died on the way back to her own planet. Yeah.
She died of Muppet pox.
No.
The Muppets die? Is this explored?
They don't die, they multiply.
Whoa.
Apparently not always though, because you have Kermit saying, "You know what happens when you cross a frog and a pig?"
That's true. That's true.
Point.
You do. I know Conan probably remembers this, but when Jim Henson passed away, everybody was talking about like what was going to become of Kermit, because that was before Brian took over, because he was the voice of Kermit for a little while, and then they got somebody who was a bit better. That like Brian Henson is like this super talent. Like I'm gonna, I love Brian Henson's work and everything. It's just he's not his father, and it's like he's always going to be compared to his father. And they did find somebody better that's doing Kermit now. And Brian did a great job as Kermit. I'm not gonna say he didn't. But he also had other creative
Low energy Brian. Not as good as his father.
Nothing like his dad. Low energy Brian. He wants to be like his dad. He'll never be him. Never be. Lots of people say he's not very good. Not very good.
He's the Don Jr.
Actually,
he is the Don Jr.
He gave us Farscape. I mean, that's a pretty fun show. He did a lot of the puppet work on Stargate SG-1. So he
also made that really bad adult puppet movie that was kind of fucked up.
I love that movie. I'm a super fan. I'm into it. Yep.
I feel like
a lot of people.
I will fight over this movie.
Okay, let's not do that. A lot of people don't realize that when Brian Henson got the job, it was what actually was said is "You're it until you're dead, or I find somebody better." And they found somebody better, so he didn't have to die.
Takes out a gun. He does the fucking Wilkins coffee thing.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's Wilkins coffee plus Starship Troopers. It all works.
You want to be Kermit? No. All right. You wanna hop over to the Letterboxd one-liners? Get some of those
so
going.
early. Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
I figured we'd do it around 9, and then we're gonna do an after party. So I figured we should start that at 9:30.
I mean, I feel like we barely talked about the actual film, but it's your show. So
let's keep. I mean, I'm down. Let's find
we
one
can
other
keep talking
scene.
about it.
Let's find a scene. Okay, so there's a scene
with Mel Brooks.
One?
We talked a little bit about Mel Brooks.
Yeah, the Mel Brooks is a. I think that's a perfect cameo. Honestly, he's doing the German voice. I don't know. What do you guys think about it?
My favorite thing about that scene is that they made Miss Piggy's eyes go you can actually see the entire pupil, which makes her look crazy while she's doing the martial arts. So it's just like the attention to detail in this movie is fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's Piggy's best scene, frankly. Like that's sort of because otherwise you get like the sort of diva-esque Piggy all over the place, which
I love,
and we love it, folks. But but also like I like when she goes hog wild, so to speak.
Whoa, is that a slur?
Yeah, whoa.
We don't use pig slurs on this channel.
Just Conan, Dr. Teeth using those pig slurs.
Exactly. It was different times, man. It was different times. Like it, but I think that's great for that's probably the thing I like best about that scene. That's probably look. It's all great, but if there's one thing I was gonna cut, that whole arc is sort of like what? It's basically an excuse to like get them back together, and to show that Miss Piggy can beat the hell out of some fools, which I'm here for that. That's great.
But then that also leads to the final showdown, which we haven't talked about.
We have not.
With the Insta Grow pills that are sadly temporary.
Exactly. Just like the ones that Alex Jones sells. The animal growing as large as the building scared the hell out of me when I saw this as a kid. Because I saw this like young. I saw this like when I was like really young, and that really like that terrified me. And apparently, my dad tells me, he's like, it was hilarious. You were terrified. I'm like, thanks, Dad. Which now is just like, oh, that's hilarious. It is hilarious. It's hilarious that I would be scared of that. But when you're like a little kid and you see like something like that,
and then the screaming, and then like the camera's shaking. And
yeah,
it's great. It's great.
And I also
like Godzilla movies and stuff, and like I get it now.
I wonder if that's why they kind of warn you though. They have the intermission or whatever, and the Swedish chef fucks up the film or whatever, and
he is. That's right. Yes, because they're screening the film, right?
Yeah.
Muppets are screening the Muppet movie for
There's so many layers.
Audience of Muppets. Right. I think it's important to mention because we mentioned it being like they're multi layers. It's like Inception or something, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I love the Robin line at the beginning. Kermit's nephew, and he's like, "Is this the story of how the Muppets met?" And he's like, more or less. Like it's
supposedly how it happened.
So they're preparing you for like the Hollywoodization of the Muppet origin story, which
it's an incredible meta commentary.
Yeah. But so they warn you though in that scene, and they say like, "Oh, Animal's like freaking out," and he's like, "My big scene," or whatever, and they're like, "All right, Animal, don't worry." Or I think he's just irritated. I was trying to figure out what he said, and I watched it. I watched the Disney Plus version, and they said irritated. The other one said like Eric or something, and I was like, "There's nobody named Eric. Who the fuck would he be talking to?" So he says,
Eric the Muppet, the lesser known Muppet. I'm just a guy.
Sir Eric not appearing in this film.
Forgotten son once again.
But they tell him to eat more of his cushion.
Yeah,
like, eat another seat cushion, Animal.
I love that.
But they warn you about that beforehand, and then it feels like it's leading up to Animal getting really big because something's gonna happen, and like maybe it's preparing kids for that.
Really it's also good for the rewatch.
Scene.
Yeah.
I love movies where you can like they have like the things like peppered in, so you're like, oh, that's it's in reference to something later.
Yeah. Foreshadowing. I also like that they just kind of encounter Bunsen and Beaker, and they don't force it into the narrative.
They're just in this ghost town experimenting.
As you do.
Whatever. Nothing sus about that.
I mean, there's no cops in the ghost town, right?
There's no cops, right? That's there you go. Occam's razor. We found the solution.
It's also like the ending of Blazing Saddles, where they raise up the ghost town, like the Hollywood ghost town or whatever. Like it feels like there's a lot of Blazing Saddles references in this movie.
And that was fairly recent at that time, I think.
Yeah, it was 5 years before that.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were working with Mel Brooks and like all like his entire cast of collaborators throughout the course of this. There's a really cute picture of Mel Brooks reading the script with Miss Piggy, and they're hanging out. But yeah, I think that the animal scene is really effective. I mean, I think that throughout this movie, though, that like if you're looking at it like from a structural narrative point, I mean, it's really funny that they do the meta comedy and they're kind of reference that this is a movie, but it's also like there's a few sticky points where it's like, how are they really going to get out of the situation? And then they're like, let's bring back the meta stuff and save them that way.
Well, because it just keeps escalating. The entire film, it just keeps escalating. Like it starts off being like, oh, I want to sign this frog to be my Charlie Tuna style spokesman for my frog legs restaurant. And honestly, the only reason why is because he's terrible at it. Like he attempts to be his own mascot and it's bad. And he even admits it.
Frog's legs, something.
And then as the movie goes on, it escalates and escalates and escalates until like you have I forget the assistant. He's a great actor. He's been like a million things. He poses as a cop to get on the bus and we're this guy's about to kill you. Like watch out. Like, he's coming. Like I need to tell you. That's why I'm like. That's why I impersonated a California Highway Patrolman to tell you. Which is like,
really,
wow.
Like Kermit was so sure that he would be able to change the heart of this guy, like just by, he was like, you know, tell him to meet me here, and he's got no plan B, right? He doesn't know that that animal's gonna eat that and become huge. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna do a heart to heart, and I'm gonna convince him, you know, to let me go on my way. And the guy's like, all right, fucking kill him. Like, I'm not buying this corny ass shit.
and I think there was a lot of parodying going on. I think at the time, right? Like a lot of like 1940s and 50s movies. There's always the big speech, and he's like, really deep down inside, like, you have friends. Don't you want to share this with somebody? And like they give the big speech, and it like changes somebody's mind. Like think of you know, pretty much every just pretty much every Frank Capra movie pretty much ends with one of those, like, you know, big speeches or whatever. Like and there's a lot of parodying of that, where at the end of it the person's just like, no, my mind's not changed, just do it. Like fucking kill him.
Are you done yet?
And by the way, there's a great you know, Miss Piggy's like, Kermit, whisper sweet nothings in my ear. Motorcycle cop. Motorcycle cop is a sweet nothing? That's great. That's aces.
She's such a manipulative pig. Throughout
whoa,
this whole movie.
whoa!
You said pig with a hard R. What the fuck?
With a hard G.
Forrest Miller canceled by Muppet slander.
But no, but like throughout this, she gets back on the. This is Miss Piggy's biggest ain't shit moment. When she goes off on her own, right? She's gonna go to Hollywood herself. Fuck Kermit. She's gone. She has a job. She leaves, and then they counter her sitting on the side of a road trying to hitchhike.
But she gets in the car, right? And then she's like, I did stuff too while we were apart. And he's like, Kermit says, nobody gives a and then it cuts out.
No, he says frankly, Miss Piggy, I don't give a hoot or something. That's so cursing in Kermit's world, though, you know? Kermit would be the one Muppet that doesn't curse at all, I feel like. And then he finally breaks down and has like a Ned Flanders moment. Like ding dong diggly ding. Like,
so one scene I really like in the desert, since we're talking about that piece of it before the big showdown, is there's that sort of like dark night of the soul that Kermit has, where like everyone's like they're broke down. It's before the electric teeth show up because they read ahead in the script. And he has like this he's feeling this culpability for basically bringing people along, and then he has this sort of like conversation with himself, which is like, well, I didn't tell them to come along to this, you know, I didn't force them to do this. And he has this reconciliation, and it's something that could be such a small scene, but it's sort of like definitionally Kermit's character, who is the leader of the Muppets, even though he would never introduce himself as such or think of himself as such. He's absolutely with 100% certainty the leader of the Muppets, unwilling as he may be, right?
And especially in this movie, I mean, he's the one that has the dream that he's following, and everyone else is like, oh, that's a good dream, I'll just tag along.
And the whole thing about like how it kind of has the story of that dream, and how everyone, you know, kind of moves along with it. Like I forget the exact
would you say that they were moving right along with it?
We'll get to that. Let's see. So you know, why'd you leave the swamp in the first place? Because some agent fellow said I had talent. He probably says that to everyone. On the other hand, if you hadn't left the swamp, you'd be feeling pretty miserable anyhow. Yeah, but then it would just be me feeling miserable. Now we got a lady pig and a bear and a chicken, a dog, a thing, whatever Gonzo is. He's a little like a turkey. Yeah, a little like a turkey, but not much. No, I guess not.
The guy, yeah, but not much.
Like there's jokes in this like heartfelt speech, which I love. No, I guess not. Anyway, I brought them here to the middle of nowhere. It's all my fault. Still, whether you promise them something or not, you got to remember they wanted to come, but that's because they believed in me. No, because they believed in the dream. So how can you not think of this as like Jim Henson?
Yeah.
Right. Like Jim Henson sort of like having like, all right, here's going to be like the, you know, the 20 seconds of like serious business of like what I want to do creatively. And like knowing that like whether it lives or dies is going to be because I wanted to like do this thing. And I think that that's really beautiful and really cool. And I also love that it mentions the fact, is he a turkey? What is he like in there in the middle of it, in the middle of this heartfelt speech? And that's what the Muppets do. And I think that's so amazing.
And the central thesis, I think, can be kind of taken to Rainbow Connection, right? Like the lovers, the dreamers, and me. And that is who Jim Henson sees as his audience. That's who Jim Henson sees as himself. You know, people with a dream that are following it. So this movie really kind of, that scene and the opening song are kind of like this thesis, I think, that he's kind of putting out for his own work and what he wants to do with the Muppets, and this belief in yourself, this belief in yourself as a creative person. And like, you know, the people you surround yourself with are obviously really important, but the dream kind of, right, is the overall overarching purpose of everything.
I also like how it kind of like, so was Kermit depressed in the swamp, and like for how long? Like what was the source of the depression? Like did he
living in Florida? That's what it was, because it was Florida. He hated it.
That's the same swamp Ron DeSantis crawled out of.
No way, everybody.
It's all the Florida mans and their escapades.
I mean, he might have had addiction issues at some point.
Yeah, Kermit on meth.
Hey, get the fuck out of here!
now that's Meet the Feebles.
Yes.
Anyway,
literally.
So, Forrest, you want to do the letterbox?
Yeah.
No? Okay, I know you're trying to move it along. Moving right along.
Moving right along.
By the way,
in the road right now. I mean, I just feel like you know, I was trying to time it out so like this ends at 9:30, and then our thing.
You don't need to explain yourself. It's fine.
We save an audience. We get an audience. You know,
this is the meta here. We're describing how the show is going to go.
Exactly. We're pulling up a movie right now.
I think maybe you should have written out a script and been like waving papers in front of the camera.
Can we do the screenplay? It says that we
go to screenplay. We do letterbox one-liners now. No, moving right along has to be one of the great. That's up there with On the Road Again, right?
That song just slaps.
It goes so hard.
Even though the geography depicted in the song is very specious, but like it doesn't matter because it's fantastic.
But they're all for like great moments. Like we just left Rhode Island. What?
Yeah, it's like,
and they have a whole Mountie, like a Mountie in the fucking background when they do the Saskatchewan.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the music is fantastic in here, and I mean, for good reason. Didn't Rainbow Connection wasn't that like nominated for like an Oscar or something?
It was like a pop hit too, wasn't it?
It's a good song.
They're all bangers. Like I would say the worst one might be the Miss Piggy one. I might say is the worst one.
Yeah,
but they knew it was. They knew it was, so that's why they let Frank Oz bomb that last note. Yeah.
They also have The Lovers, the Dreamers, and Me on Jim Henson's grave, like memorial, like that kind of. Right. I think he saw as his like central song. I really like the Hope There's Something Better. As someone that last year went through like a really bad breakup, like I Hope There's Something Better comes along song as an adult kind of slaps. Like you're like. You know
no, you got red pilled.
I got red pilled by Rolf. I got Rolf pilled.
Rolf
Rolf the dog, and I'm going to show you how to pick up women. Like, oh no!
That would be Rolf's the dog and his PUA arc. No.
Oh man,
Ralph the dog's now selling NFTs.
Men going their own way. Ralph the dog.
They also you never see Ralph the dog decide to go with them. He just comes back and Ralph the dog is hanging out with them. Like he's the guy working at the bar and he's just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm done playing piano at this bar. I've
had enough.
There's too many women in this bar, and
that's true.
This car seems to be full of men. I'm gonna red pill all of them.
And then Miss Piggy is on the side of the road,
and they all don't want to pick her up. And she's like, "Hey, can I get some help?"
No, don't do it.
Like, no. Ralph the dog's got to all of them by that point.
So he's slipping red pills in their drinks.
Right. Okay, so this has gone somewhere really dark. I was gonna give props to Paul Williams, who he wrote vast majority of the music, and it's great. And he actually appears as the piano player in what was it? El Creepo, El Scorcho,
El Sleazo.
El Sleazo. Thank you.
El Scorcho. What is this? The Weezer world?
Yeah. Well, and but I love that he came in as a fan. Like he,
I actually always thought he was a Muppet himself.
He's got a bit of a Muppet like something to it to what he does for sure.
Paul Williams as a Muppet changed my mind.
Well, and he
Time
also
of the El Sleazo. Sorry.
he also wrote the music for the incredible Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, which is that, if anyone besides me familiar with this, because it's fantastic.
No.
Okay. So we're definitely going to be doing an episode on that because everyone needs to watch it. But it is another Jim
Sign me up.
joint, and it's badass. And the River Bottom Nightmare Band is absolutely incredible. I could do a whole episode just on that, but we're not going to.
If it's only
And how about
if
that
anything
slasher
like
movie?
the joints that Dr. Teeth was handing out in the middle of this movie, sign me up.
Exactly.
He did a Brian De Palma slasher movie in the 70s where he was the villain. Was it Phantom of the
Opera?
No.
It's with the Megaplex.
No. Oh shit, I forgot.
Phantom of the Planet? Is that the one?
No. Shoot.
Phantom of the Spheres. No.
Give me a second here.
Phantom of the Podcast.
John Ross is since this bit is dying on the vine. John Ross has seen Emmett Otter's Jog Band Christmas, by the way. So,
Phantom of the Paradise.
Phantom of the Paradise.
1974. It's a
oh, thank God we sorted that one out.
Yeah. No. But Paul Williams, the human Muppet, is the slasher villain in the movie. And
step right up and see Paul Williams, the human Muppet.
And it's all about like Conan. If you haven't seen it before, you got to watch it because it's all about like musicians and royalties and the rights to their music.
Okay.
All right.
So
hey, Letterboxd one line.
Sounds like a lot of escapism. All right. So Letterboxd. Whatever happened to the Letterboxd one-liners? Waldorf and Statler would be great Letterboxd users. Just gonna throw it out there. Letterboxd, social media site for film lovers. One of the only social media sites that matter. One of the only social media sites I personally enjoy. You get lots of film lovers that get to talk with and to each other about films they love, films that they did not love, films they were baffled by, films they were weirdly horny by. And all of this is expressed best for this show in the one-liner form. Succinct, you get to work on your tight five. You're having a laugh. You get to piss off people that write off, 3-page like in-depth reviews that nobody reads, myself inclusive. And these are the Letterboxd one-liners for the Muppet movie. Forrest, let's go. Kermit's outfits in this movie are second to none. That little red suit, those little cowboy boots, that little director's beret. He is one stylish frog.
True.
Which is odd because he's also naked in most of the movie.
Yeah.
That's what I like. Gonzo usually has clothes on, but Fozzie Bear also, this is like a whole, I don't know.
What they're actually going to Hollywood to form is a nudist colony.
Oh, no.
Exactly.
Wait, hold on, because Scooter has drip in this picture, though. Look at him. He's stepping out.
Yo, he's got like J.C. Penney back to school drip or whatever. Like when you see
hey.
Get your kids styled up for their first day of middle school.
Oh, no.
He's dressing.
Forget Infinity War. Kermit and Fozzie bumping into Big Bird on the way to Hollywood is the most ambitious crossover event in history.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it blew my mind as a child.
It's the MCU, exactly. The Muppet Cinematic Universe.
You got
and he doesn't even try to get in their car. And he's on his way to New York. He doesn't have time for them.
To break into public television.
Yeah. I love that line. That line is great. Because that is my only memory of the movie, seeing it in the theater, was just hearing all the adults laugh at that joke and not getting it.
Oh, I remember seeing it as a kid, and I totally got it. And I was like, "Oh fuck, he's on his way to Sesame Street."
I felt like
I was in on the joke. I was like, "Oh yeah, he's on his way. I know that he's on his way to start Sesame Street."
Yeah. Let's see if you get the joke when you're 2. Come on.
All right, let's see. Let's go get the time machine.
Let's get the time. Let's fire it up. Let's go. If I learned anything from Mank, it's that Orson would have lost his shit on Kermit for destroying the Rainbow Connection set. It gets jacked up, man. Like that is something as an adult I notice more of than as a kid. Let's put it that way.
And it's Gonzo's fault, of course.
It generally is.
We didn't even talk about Orson Welles in this, by the way.
The Muppets nearly kill a woman for an audition. Anything for that cash money, you know.
Yeah, they do.
That part's so good. Like, she just literally, like, she's dying in the corner, and then she gets her hand up to press the buzzer.
Yeah. And they're like throwing their dander at her. Like, it's pretty wild.
Everybody shake. Everybody shake. Yo, the craziest line is, imagine you're that woman though, and you're like the light's fading from your eyes, and you hear allergies are nothing to sneeze at.
No, it's a corny one-liner. Dead. The thing about Kermit the Frog is that I feel like I've known him my whole life. I would take a bullet for the homie. I bleed green.
I mean, I agree with this person. I'm in the same boat.
Hey, homie, you ready to rep your set?
Wait, what set you from?
Fantastic.
Well, you're gonna need it when it's the big Muppet Sesame Street gang war of 2030.
Young Steve Martin could get it.
He was rocking the brown hair and everything. Very unlike
And the short
Steve Martin.
shorts.
I remember seeing this movie years, like as a young
The
teenager,
gray
just
hair, not
being,
brown. Oh.
like astounded that Steve Martin wasn't always gray. Didn't always have white hair.
Yeah.
Blew my mind.
He also has brown hair in Little Shop of Horrors. I remember being mind blown by that as a kid.
Yeah, but I was 10 when that came out, so it didn't blow my mind.
This has Rainbow Connection. Does your fave have Rainbow Connection? Checkmate.
Yeah, it does. This is my fave.
This is my fave. I agree.
Uriah Lansdale. Many attempted murders are portrayed in this movie, and also Muppet sex and drinking.
Hell yeah.
95-cent wine.
Yes.
But only 4.5 stars. What the fuck?
Yeah, imagine not giving this a 5-star. Like, what is that last half a star? Like, what do you need to see for this to be 5 stars? Really? You're gonna
Penetration.
Oh no.
Full frontal, yeah.
We need to see Kermit full frontal penetration.
I mean, we have for the most of the movie. I mean, the background image on this very stream is
He's only wearing a hat and a smile.
I want to see Gonzo have sex with his chicken wife, and then I'll give it that last half a star.
The power of the frog.
5-star. There you go. That's a better review.
Yeah.
Bear in his natural habitat. A Studebaker.
True.
Solid ones.
Those are the Letterboxd one-liners for the Muppet movie. Of course, Letterboxd Place for Film. You can find the show on Letterboxd. It's actually secretly for us, Moving Extravaganza. I, of course, am Conan Neutron. I'm on Letterboxd as well. You can follow me as well. J&D World is over there. This side. This way. And Rayyvana, Andrea, I don't think either of you are on Letterboxd, right?
I should make one. I'll
You should
do it
make one.
before the
You
next time I
absolutely
get
should.
on.
And just drag people to give them up a movie anything less than 5 stars. It could be like
I don't know
every single one of them.
who you're trying to impress with this 4.5 stars. You are not as important as you think you are.
I gave them the Great Muppet Caper 4.5 stars. I took away that half a star because none of the songs were as catchy as anything in the Muppet movie.
I'm okay with that. If as long as Muppet movie is 5 stars, that's the control. That's the best. Everything is compared against it.
So I don't have any Letterboxd reviews, but I did watch this movie illegally on Vimeo, and there were 2 comments I'd like to read under this, if I may.
Absolutely.
I think they're inspired. The first one says, "Why does this movie arouse me?"
Now I can answer that question.
The second one says, "Which scene does Piggy put out?"
It's a musical number where it happens.
And both comments were left by Gonzo.
Yeah, exactly. J&D World, take it away with the plugs.
Yeah, if you are joining us right here on Twitch, please please subscribe if you can. If you happen to have an Amazon Prime account, you can subscribe for free, and that really does help us out. If you're watching us over on YouTube, do the YouTube things, hit that like, hit that bell, comment. Comments actually do help people find our videos. And this is the big ask, but Conan makes those slapping songs, so you can easily get your way to the end of the video, but watch the video to the end to help other movie fans find our films. That's something that you don't even have to pay money for, and that helps us out. But if you do want to pay us money, we have a Patreon. Patreon gets you access to bonus things like the after parties. The after parties might be free temporarily, but they live forever in our Patreon. So
and in our nightmares.
Yes.
And the next
Sometimes.
day when we think, what the fuck did I say last night on that after party?
Are we supposed to be getting like shit faced or something? Is that? Am
I
I
mean,
invited?
I'm gonna crack open the alcohol that Rayyvana made fun of me for drinking last time.
You remember that though, so you weren't that drunk.
I don't know about this after party. Like what is this? Is this
It's
a
like
secret?
El Sleazo, but on the internet.
Ooh.
Dream time at the El Sleazo.
Please, Forrest, please rename the after party Stream Time with the El Sleazo. Thank you in advance.
I will. The bar that I hang out at in New Paltz a lot of the time.
Was that it, Andy? You have something else? Are we doing?
I don't know. Something Discord.
Great.
Yes.
So the bar that I hang out with Snugs is like a pretty dirty dive bar, and it reminds me of the El Sleazo. So I tagged the guy that owns the bar on as Paul Williams, and I was like, look, it's Snugs, and then I was like, and he's like this big ass beard, and I was like, and Fozzie Bear's dressed up like you when he says when he's dressed up as the fucking waiter. All
How'd
right,
that go?
well,
How did that tagging go? Was that good?
he said he wasn't. He said he would never wear those.
He said that isn't me. Is that what he said? That isn't me.
He said, "Who are you?
Please stop
tagging
messaging me.
Stop tagging me every time you see a dive bar in a movie. I get it. I own a dive bar. I've never met you before. I've literally never.
I mean, I actually missed the dive bar that's right next door to my house. The owner of it was very nice, but he had to close down partly because of COVID and partly because his wife had cancer. So, shout out to the owner of the Peter Pan. We miss you.
Sorry about the cancer. Yeah.
Yeah, that was harsh. That was a harsh toke, man.
I got so sad that Rayyvana just left.
Rayyvana's like, yo, peace. I was just here to talk about Muppets and have a laugh. I don't want to hear about some cancer dive bar.
Oh, no.
But Andrea, let's hear some final thoughts. I know your final thoughts are just going to be perfect movie, but
Well, it's a perfect movie. There's really no flaw. The only flaw is that it's not longer. But also maybe that's not a flaw. Maybe it's the perfect length. It's a good movie. I mean, the opening part where it's like, Stalter and Waldorf going in, they're afraid to show it in public, right? But like, what if you're watching it in public? I've seen it in public. It really makes you think.
Take that. Fact attack, Statler and Waldorf. Fact attack.
who is fact checking these comments from Statler and Waldorf? Who is fact checking them? I don't think anyone is. Washington Post, get on that.
Where's that? How many Pinocchios is that one? Statler and Waldorf.
The thing that makes me sad about Statler and Waldorf is that both of them are like Trump voters, not because of anything like economic or political, but just because top class haters. Top class haters vote for top class haters.
97 minutes, by the way. That is how long this film is.
It's
and again, again, her words.
Perfect.
Spinal Tap, again, also a short movie that like it could have been a lot more. I'm trying to say not a lot longer because I made two different dick jokes, but there were things that were not shown in the film that they could have put in to make enough to make a prestige television show, right? And I appreciate the restraint. Unlike the Batman, 3 hours.
It's great,
really.
Though.
I want to see a director's cut, the uncovered lost film edition. Like, what happened? Why did Rolf come along?
The 4-hour director's cut's gonna be like the Lynch cut of Dune, but it's a Muppet movie instead.
What were Gonzo and Fozzie doing during Miss Piggy and Kermit's date? These are the stories.
No, you don't want to know the answer to that. You don't want to know what Fozzie, Gonzo, and Camilla, Gonzo's chicken wife, were doing.
I do want to know. I'm in for it.
By the way, I don't remember this as a kid. How fucking
I'm sure that's
horny,
on the Vimeo version.
How fucking horny Gonzo was. Gonzo was
Oh,
a
yeah.
horny motherfucker in this movie.
Oh yeah.
First,
I mean, he's got
he has his chicken wife, and he's like, talking to her about how he's the prince of plungers or whatever. And then he gets in the car with them, and they're all kind of fucking just hanging out. And then they get to the fair, and then he's like, wow, so many good-looking chickens. And then his wife gets mad at him, and then he thinks Miss Piggy's good-looking too, tries hitting on her. He's a horny motherfucker. Whatever planet he's from, everybody on that planet must be just.
Whoa! Spoiler alert. We have not yet established that
Exactly.
Gonzo is an alien.
They hint at it though. They do when he's looking up at the sky, and singing about it.
Although I
He
think
wants to
the
go back there
new
someday.
Muppet Babies has introduced him as trans, if I remember correctly, and that set off the right wingers.
That's incredible.
Is that real or is that an Andy World bit?
No, it's real.
No, that's real.
Oh, really? Wow.
Well, we stand a trans Gonzo. That's what I'll say.
There's sometimes I'm really glad I'm not online all the time.
But
anyway, point I was trying to make is 97 minutes. That's a good. That's a
feature lot
length.
of minutes, but it's not too many.
Yeah, it's the right amount of minutes, I think.
Yes.
Doesn't overstay its welcome.
every movie being released
You
now,
wanted more.
every movie being released now has to be over like 2 hours.
I
And
hate
it went from everything being 90 minutes. Exactly. Like if it was
Like
more
I
than
said,
90
I'm still
minutes,
watching
yeah.
Drive My Car.
Yes.
Still watching it.
But Rayyvana, let's hear your final thoughts.
Final thoughts. It's a great movie. Everyone should go watch it. I think that we need to exonerate Miss Piggy. She is an awful person, but that's what's good about her. So get off of her ass. And yeah, go watch it. Go laugh. Have a good time.
Free the pig.
Free the pig.
Yeah, but when it's Amber Heard, you're not on her side, but when it's Miss Piggy,
Amber Heard could never.
And Kermit was a lot more sober than Johnny Depp all the time.
I don't know. We didn't know what happened to that wine after.
Look, I saw the letterbox one-liner background. Like I said, a hat and a smile and nothing else. How do you know what's going on?
Yeah, Conan. Anything you haven't said that you're?
I think I said most of it. Yeah, already. Like I said, 97 minutes taught. That a great film length leaves you wanting more rather than the other way around, like some movies I could mention, but won't. I think that it is just as funny, if not funnier, as an adult. All the corny stuff lands in a way that is somehow corny and not corny at the same time. I love the meta commentary for all of it. And I think the thing that I got the most out of it now as an adult, as I mentioned, the Kermit's Dark Night of the Soul, the following your dream thing, because, they even do the tag at the end, the life is a movie, write your own ending. Like that's, if you stop and think about what was going on with Jim Henson and what he was trying to accomplish and all these other people were following him along, it's hard not to see it be as somewhat autobiographical. And I think that that's really cool because I did not catch any of that as a kid. It's nice to see something that you have a lot of attachment to and a lot of affinity for, and you can still get the wholesomeness and the universal humor to it, but also find something different in it. Find something deeper and poignant for a different reason as an adult. And I think that's really awesome. 5 out of 5. I didn't actually rate it on Letterboxd, but I will rate it 5 out of 5. Andrea, don't.
I'll be looking. The first thing I'm going to do when I make my account.
that asshole Conan. What did he do? Did he do it 5 out of 5? Okay. The Eye of Sauron will now go somewhere else.
You better hope your finger's not slipping when you put on the.
Exactly.
Oh no!
Oh no! I wrote a 4.5.
Oh no!
She's gonna get
All
me.
right, Andy. Let's hear some final thoughts. You're muted.
So sorry, I was making sure I had a 5 out of 5 on my.
He was checking his shit.
Yeah, no, I don't wanna get the hate. Anyways. No.
You take enough abuse on this show.
I do. But I do it for the art. That's why we're going to launch me from a cannon in the after party.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
But patrons only, everyone. Pony up, you cheapskates. Go ahead.
Whoa.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, no, I think we pretty much said everything that needs to be said about this movie. Although we can always say more. And that's the beauty of
exactly. What a thing to say before the after show. Well, I think we've said everything, people. Come to the after party where we talk about literally nothing
like,
And
and stare
maybe
at the
there'll
wall.
be more to say.
like that's
Astounding.
the thing. The
Just when I
movie's
gave
like
you some props, Andy.
this movie's like an
Astounding. I love it.
onion, you start off on a layer, you peel it back like there's more onion. And that's like how this movie is with the jokes. Like you watch it as a kid, and yeah, it's silly watching Gonzo fly around with the balloons and land on the roof, and but then as an adult you can appreciate horny Gonzo. So it's those layers that make it. And just when you think you said enough, there is always more to say. So let's say more about it later.
There you go.
Nice.
Horny
Let's
Gonzo.
explore the rest
appreciator.
of that Vimeo comment section in the after party.
All
Exclusive
right. Well,
content.
my final thoughts, and I say this about both the movie and this episode. This is a narrative of heavy duty proportions.